Thank you for coming. I'd like to welcome our directors and recognize also Keith Palmer, who's with us today representing the Research Foundation. We also have Joan McDonald, who is participating by video. Is anyone else on the line? At this point, I would ask the directors if anyone has any potential conflicts of interest with respect to the items that are on today's agenda, and if so, to please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time, and then recuse yourself from any discussion and vote with regard to that item when we get to it on the agenda. No. Hearing no potential conflicts, we'll turn to approval of the minutes of the April 11th, 2019 meeting of the directors. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Make the motion.
Thank you, Franklin. A second?
Second that.
Thank you. Any comments or changes to suggest to the minutes? Hearing none. I ask for a vote on the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The minutes are approved. We'll now turn to the Audit Committee report. Today on the agenda we have the approval of our annual tax filings. If I could have a motion to approve the annual tax filings, and then I'll go through a description.
Motion
Thanks.
to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Joan. The Fuller Road Management Corporation engaged KPMG to review its annual tax filings for our fiscal year ending on June 30th, 2018. That was done pursuant to authorization by the board at our September 26, 2018 meeting. These filings include the IRS Form 990, the New York Char 500. KPMG has now completed its review of these tax filings. The Fuller Road Management Corporation Audit Committee approved a resolution approving the tax filings subject to and conditional upon completion of the remaining administrative items, if any, to the satisfaction of the chair of the Audit Committee, and authorizing the president and/or acting treasurer to sign and file these tax filings. And the committee, the Audit Committee that is, recommends that the board approve these same actions. Any questions or comments on the tax filings? I think they're fairly straightforward this year. At this time, the requested action of the board then would be to approve a resolution that approves the tax filings subject to and conditional upon completion of the remaining administrative items, if any, to the satisfaction of the chair of the Audit Committee, and that authorizes the president and acting treasurer to sign and file these tax filings and to take any and all actions necessary and appropriate to effectuate the foregoing actions.
So moved in accordance with the language as just put forth by Kristen.
Okay, thank you.
Second that.
Thank you. So all in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Thank you. That agenda item is approved. We'll now turn to the Finance Committee report. We have one item on the agenda today, and that is with regard to a lease amendment with General Control Systems, Inc. Could I have a motion to consider a fifth amendment to the lease with General Control Systems, Inc., please?
Make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Ken. So General Control Systems, by way of background, is a company that provides instrumentation and control engineering to the semiconductor industry. And this company has leased 433 square feet in CSTEM since 2012. The company is seeking a one-year extension of the lease at this time. Tenant will pay $45.44 per square foot, which reflects a 3% escalation over last year's rent, plus parking fees. This lease rate includes utilities as well as operating expenses. The proposed lease represents a very small fraction, as you know, of our total building. Therefore, an appraisal of the fair market value of the asset is not practical. Staff has determined that the lease meets fair market value based on other existing leases on the Albany Nanotech campus. The Fuller Road Management Corporation Finance Committee approved a resolution authorizing approval of this fifth amendment of the lease with General Control Systems, Inc. under the terms described above, and authorizing the president and acting treasurer, each of whom without the other, to take such actions, including without limitation, to approve, sign, acknowledge, and deliver the amendment in such form as either of them may deem appropriate, as are necessary to effectuate this resolution, and recommending that the board approve the same action today. Is there any discussion or any questions about this lease amendment? So the requested action of the board is the approval of a resolution authorizing the Fifth Amendment of the lease with General Control Systems under the terms described above, and authorizing the president and acting treasurer, each of them without the other, to take such actions, including without limitation, to approve, sign, acknowledge, and deliver the amendment in such form as either of them may deem appropriate, as are necessary to effectuate this resolution. This time I would ask for a vote on our motion to authorize the approval of the Fifth Amendment to the lease. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Joan?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Anyone abstaining? Okay, the resolution is approved. Is there any new business that any of our directors would like to bring up at this time? Okay. This time we would open the floor to public comment, and we would like to provide an opportunity for comment from the public, and if anyone would like to speak, please introduce yourself and limit your comments to 2 minutes. Then, since there's no public comment, with that, we will keep all of you apprised of the schedule for our next meeting, and I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are
Aye.
adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan.